Hello, light warriors. Welcome back to Spiritual Growth Journeys. How are you all doing today on this crazy, turbulent planet where World War III has just recently spun off over in the Middle East? Oh, yay. I'm being sarcastic. Um, so today I am doing an important educational video for all of you to help you, and this video is in honor of and inspired by my friend and follower, Shane, a young man who has been stuck in bed with mystery illness for the last 3 years, unable to function, unable to work, unable to support himself, struggling financially, just having a lot of issues because of his health. His health is really messed up and no answers from his doctor, and I was able to help him a little, and now I'm reading this post. What happened is I read this message because he had posted, and I had kind of mentioned why I think he was having his issue, and he listened to what I said. He followed through, and now he said that he's feeling a lot better. He's feeling stronger, and he's feeling better and lighter, happier, less angry, more energetic, and he's improving as a result of my advice. And so then my guide spoke to me and they told me, Kimberly, this is not just a problem with him. This is a problem with pretty much everybody in the collective right now is going through some form of this. And that is dizziness. Okay. Dizziness, nausea, vertigo. This is a thing in the collective. This is a real awful thing happening to people. And I am so grateful that I was able to help my very young follower, but I want to also help all of you as well. So today I'm going to give you, first of all, disclaimer. This video is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a doctor. I cannot diagnose or treat or prescribe anything for you. You need to go see your own doctors and get your own testing and figure it out for yourself what you need to do. This is just educational and entertainment purposes only. But today I am going to cover the topic of dizziness and vertigo in the collective. What are all of the causes of this? All the causes. We're going to go over all of them. Then I'm going to give you a solution, because as a spiritual teacher and a counselor and a healer, not only do I go in with my clients on private sessions and diagnose what all is going on with you, but I actually give you the solution too. It's very rarely that I scratch my head and go, oh, duh, I don't know the solution. Usually there's a solution to pretty much everything. You got demons in your house, I got a solution. You got attachments, you got psychic attack, got a solution. You got trauma you need to heal, I got a solution. You got emotional crap, I got a solution. You got physical stuff, I got a solution. I've got a solution to pretty much everything. So I'm going to today go over why, because there's a lot of people out there, a lot of you out there are blaming every little thing you have going on in your life on ascension symptoms. And even though in my book, Ascension 101, which you all should read, if you don't have a copy of that book, every human on earth who's going to stay here on earth needs a copy of this book. If you know anyone who's awake who may not have a copy of this book, you need to get one to them or tell them to get one. The reason why is everything in that book, not only do I talk about what is the ascension, why are we going through it, but I also talk about what is God really, what are you made out of, all the parts of your soul, your higher self, your monad, your astral body, your physical body, your emotional body, all this. I talk about karma, I talk about past lives, I talk about reincarnation, I talk about how to be happy every day for the rest of your life. I mean, we cover everything. 70% of the information in that book came from Yeshua ben Yosef, my head spirit guide, and the other 30% came from my own research and practice and knowledge. And so it is like the essential Bible of ascension. It's like the Ascension Bible, literally. So It should have been called the Ascension Bible. But actually, what I wanted to call it was Classroom Earth, Making the Grade. But Yeshua is the one who gave it the name Ascension 101, a roadmap for your soul. I didn't come up with that name. That came from him. So, and he actually helped me pick the photo. He told me he wanted a picture of a road going into the sun, because that's kind of representing the ascension right there with the solar flash and all the solar upgrades we're having. All the stuff we're going through is all coming from the sun. So, so there's a lot of you that are experiencing vertigo and dizziness. And in the case of my poor follower friend Shane, he's been stuck in bed 3 years in a row with dizziness. So let me tell you a little story of my own. My own story is that several years ago, when my kids were quite young, I want to say it's been 10 years ago, maybe. It might have been about 10 years ago. It might have been sooner, I'm not sure, but 10 or more years ago, I was not quite bedridden per se, but I was literally trapped in my house with constant dizziness and vertigo. It was going on 24/7, round the clock. Okay. In my book, Ascension 101, I have a whole list. I have a whole chapter on ascension symptoms, the good ones and the bad ones, because there's good ascension symptoms and there's bad ascension symptoms. Like a good one, for example, is realizing that you're connected, realizing unity consciousness and your connection to everything and everyone on this planet. That's part of ascension. When you wake up to that, oh gee, I'm connected to everything. That's a positive ascension symptom. Another positive ascension symptom is getting new psychic abilities or seeing angel numbers all day. So, but I also have the negative ones, and one of the top negative ascension symptoms is dizziness and vertigo. Okay, that is a top negative ascension symptom. But here's the issue with this: dizziness and vertigo is not always an ascension symptom. And a lot of you guys are having all kinds of symptoms and blaming ascension on them. And you need to stop doing that. You need to know, when is this a medical problem, or when is this another type of a problem versus actual ascension symptom. So first, let me explain to you how you know it's an ascension symptom. If you are having dizziness or vertigo, or you are having any weird symptom and it lasts maybe like a few minutes or a day, or it's only at night when you're sleeping kind of thing, like you're having problems sleeping every night, that could be an ascension symptom. It could also be caused by a lot of other problems too, hormones and you name it, stress, anxiety. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. Your room's too hot or too cold. But not being able to sleep well at night is also another ascension symptom. But usually ascension symptoms are things that are very temporary. It's like a hit and run. Think of it as like, bam, it happens maybe for a minute, an hour, a few hours, a day, a couple days, maybe 2-3 days, and then it goes away and it doesn't come back again. That's your clue that it might be an ascension symptom. It still could be something else, which we're going to go over why I'm saying this. But it could be an ascension symptom. But usually ascension symptoms are temporary. They don't go on forever and ever, and they don't affect you all day long, every day, nonstop. It's a very, very short-lived type of a thing when it's a negative ascension symptom. So I want to talk to you today about all of the different causes of vertigo and dizziness, and then we will talk about what do you do about this. Okay. So obviously, if you're having an ascension symptom, you need to take it easy on yourself. You need to drink more water. I actually talk about it in the book. I give you some advice. But take it easy, meditate a lot, drink a lot of water, eat really good food, take care of yourself, make sure you're taking your vitamins, especially a lot of potassium and magnesium is necessary right now during this ascension, because our body needs those two things, and also vitamin D3. Those three things actually are highly necessary right now during all the upgrades and everything our bodies are going through with all this shit, because we are going from a carbon-based life form to a crystalline life form, and our DNA is going from 2 strands of activation to 12 and higher. And as these shifts are happening within our body, mind, and spirit system, you are having symptoms from it. You are going to have side effects or symptoms. Okay. So if you want to know all the different symptoms, please definitely get my book, Ascension 101. And honestly, if you don't have it and you want to stay here on earth, you really need that book, because even people who are light worker teachers like myself that do this work I do, who have read that book, lots of very advanced people and teachers have read the book and they've still learned something. And the reason why is, again, 70% of that info came from Yeshua. It didn't come from me or a human on this earth right now. So when you're getting information that comes from outside of earth, from the other side, none of us know it. Okay. Everybody's going to learn something from this book. So even if you're one of the most highest level psychic light workers on the planet, you read my book, I guarantee you will walk away with one or more new ideas that you never thought of before, you never had any idea about. So let's talk about all of the different causes of what we call short-term vertigo or dizziness. So what does that mean? That means you're dizzy for a few minutes. You don't know why. It doesn't happen again for at all ever, or not for another month, or maybe another week or another year. Or maybe you're dizzy for a few hours, or maybe you're dizzy for a day, but it doesn't go on and on and on and on. Okay. So this is a very short-term type of thing where you're dizzy for 1 to 3 days, maybe, or you're dizzy, for a little while. Oops, I forgot to write down a few other things here. So Schumann, we'll talk about this. And also, solar flares or CMEs. Those are going to make you dizzy too. Okay. So let's go over all of these. So this is the short-term kind of dizziness that might be an ascension symptom. Okay. So if it's a short-term dizziness and it's not an ascension symptom, the things that it could be are you're getting a download or you're getting an upgrade. If you're getting a download or an upgrade, you could get temporary like ringing in the ear, temporary dizziness, like it feels like woo all of a sudden, and that's because you're getting a big upgrade. I've had this happen nonstop for the last several years now, where I'll have these moments where all of a sudden I feel like I'm like up on a ledge and I'm going to fall out. I mean, I just suddenly get hit with this vertigo, and it's like a hit and run is what it is. So you feel really whoop, and it lasts maybe, could be a few seconds, it could be a few minutes. It doesn't last very long. It's very short-lived. Okay. It's like a few minutes and it goes away. That can be ascension, which is an upgrade, an activation, a download that you're getting from source, that kind of thing. The other thing that can cause you to be dizzy temporarily is if you're close to 5G, you're being exposed to a lot of 5G or cell towers, that will make you dizzy. Wi-Fi, of course, can make you dizzy. Psychic attacks. If you're being psychic attacked, you can suddenly get dizzy. I've gone into buildings in the downtown of a city before that had demons in them, and I will start to feel dizzy. If I go into actually a building that's haunted with ghosts, and if it has ghosts, shadow people, archons, demons, any kind of what we call negative, malevolent energies in it, that will knock me for a loop and make me dizzy until I leave the building. Once I leave the building, the dizziness goes away. So if you walk into a building all of a sudden and it could also be allergies in the building. Like I've gone into buildings that were old and moldy, and I have mold allergies and fungus allergies, and that set me off dizzy as well. But if you walk into a building and you get hit, it could be demons, it could be entities, ghosts, it could be mold in that building. Okay, so psychic attack is a big one. Entities attacking you. Timeline changes. If we have a timeline shift, that will knock you for a loop. And how you'll know there's a timeline shift is all of a sudden there'll be things that people are saying that never happened, that without a doubt in your mind that happened, or like the name of Berenstein Bears will be changed on the spelling, or you put a soap bar down in a specific spot and there's nobody in your house or apartment to take it, and it disappears completely, or it reappears somewhere else. That's a timeline shift. That will also come with the vertigo and the dizziness. Having actual vertigo. So I am afraid of heights. I don't like being up really high. So if I stand on the edge of the cliff and look down, I'll get vertigo, and that will make me dizzy for a few minutes, like I'm going to fall. And then as long as I stay away from that cliff, I'm fine. So that's a temporary thing if you suffer from vertigo. There's a movie called Vertigo. It's a Hitchcock film. I highly recommend it. Really good movie. In fact, I recommend all the Hitchcock films. They're really well done, very suspenseful and very well done, and they don't have satanic baloney in them. So I recommend those. Directed energy weapons, you get hit with one of those, it's going to knock you for a loop. You're going to be very dizzy. If you're spinning around, you go on the teacup ride at Disneyland, you go on a ferry, you go on any kind of a ride, like a roller coaster, anything where you're doing a spiral kind of motion. You're in the car. If you're car sick, that can make you dizzy. I've gotten dizzy in the car before when I'm going on too many turns and loops. I went on the Amalfi Coast of Italy, which is like, woo, it's like a big roller coaster ride on the coast there, and you're up 2,000 feet up above the ocean looking down a cliff. Yeah, that for me was a combination of the windy roads and the heights made me very dizzy. So that will happen. Let's see. Going into an inverted like yoga pose or bending over really quick and then standing up again, that will make you dizzy. Like when I'm in the shower, sometimes if I'm bending over and washing my hair and then I plunk my neck back up again, that will make me dizzy. Allergies, of course, will make you dizzy. An ear infection, or wax stuck in your ear or water stuck in your ear, or a mastoid infection, that all can make you dizzy. That kind of stuff can make you dizzy. So those are all causes of what we call short-term vertigo and dizziness, meaning it doesn't last more than a day, a week. Like if you have an ear infection, you could be dizzy for a full week with that. But when you're talking long-term dizzy, like my poor friend Shane, who's stuck in bed for 3 years with dizziness 24/7, then you're looking at a lot more serious illnesses and problems. So, of course, oh, and another short-term dizzy thing that I forgot to mention is concussion. If you get a concussion or a stroke, any kind of injury to the brain or the head can make you temporarily dizzy. I'm gonna drink something here. It's really dry in this room and dusty. Okay, let's talk about long-term vertigo and dizziness. So long-term vertigo and dizziness, of course, allergies, especially food allergies, supplements, molds, fungus, dust mites. So now I'm going to share my story. I think I started to tell it earlier and I didn't continue because I have really bad ADD and I tend to go off topic. So I was stuck in my house dizzy for 6 months or more. I don't know how long. It was 6 to 8 months. And this was several years ago. And I was stuck in my house with chronic dizziness. I couldn't drive my car. I couldn't function. I was just felt nauseous and dizzy all the time. And I went to every freaking doctor known to man. None of them could answer the problem. The problem with being a psychic is we don't always see our own stuff. Okay. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, because ego and emotions get involved when you're looking at your own stuff. When I'm looking at your stuff and I'm doing a reading for you, I don't know you at all. I don't have a connection to you. So there's no emotions. I'm not getting emotional about you and I'm not getting connected to you in that way. You're not like a family member or something. And I push my ego aside when I do a reading. So that's why I'm able to be accurate. But for myself, I don't always know all the answers for myself. Sometimes I get the answers for myself and sometimes I don't. And that's because we all need each other. So I need to be able to pick up the phone and call another psychic and get a reading. In fact, I have several famous, very well-known psychics. I can't tell you who they are because I'm under HIPAA, I'm under privacy laws, but I've got some very famous psychics who come to me for readings regularly and help, because we all help each other, because everybody has this issue. None of the psychic people can see their stuff. They can't. So they come to me, and that's because we all need each other. You have to be able to receive what you give to people. whether it's healing, whether it's teaching, learning, whatever, you have to receive it, which is why I take classes all the time. I'm always growing and learning, always. So what happened to me is I had this dizziness for 6 to 8 months, trapped in my house, couldn't go anywhere. Doctors couldn't help. I had a naturopath who suggested that it might have been allergies to something. So we tried eliminating different things. And what we found out it was, is I was taking a product called spirulina. Now, spirulina is a blue-green algae. It's a natural thing. I had no clue that I was freaking allergic to algae of all kinds, all algae, whether it's blue, whether it's red, algae, algae, algae. Now, here's what's interesting. I can put small amounts of algae on my skin. So let's say I buy a facial moisturizer and it says it has red algae in it. It's such a tiny amount mixed in with all the other stuff, and it's going on my skin and it's just staying on my skin. I can do that. But when I'm putting it internally and it's going through my liver and my gallbladder and it's going into my blood, it's going, well, not my blood, but it's going into my digestive system. I have what you call digestive allergies, food allergies. Gluten is one of them. I've got some other food allergies that I'm not going to go into all my allergies. I've got a nice little list of things I can't do. But apparently, when you have certain food allergies, another thing that makes me dizzy is gluten. If I have gluten, I will get dizzy afterwards. So I stopped having gluten because I don't like being dizzy. But I was dizzy all the time because I was taking spirulina and it was literally making me dizzy 24/7. So I stopped taking it. The minute I stopped taking it, the next day I felt a little bit better. And then each day that I was off of it, I felt a little better, a little better, a little better. Sorry, it's like really hot and dry here. I live in the high desert and it's very, in the desert here, very hot and dry. Okay. So, I stopped it and I got better, I got better, I got better. Well, that's what happened. So Shane found out he has a milk allergy. And he stopped doing all the dairy. He has a dairy allergy. Stopped doing the dairy and he's feeling better because I said to him, I said, maybe your dizziness is a food allergy. So he went and he figured that out. So what are some other things besides dust mites, fungus, mold, foods, supplements, that can cause, oh, and spring pollens. Some people are allergic to pollens and can be dizzy all spring long. Many years ago, I'm going to share this with you. Many years ago, I used to have horrible pollen allergies because I moved from one state to another with completely different trees and flora and fauna. And I wound up developing a horrible tree pollen allergy, which I never had. And that's because I lived in a state where there weren't any trees. It was basically the desert. I went from the desert to more of a rainforest. Went from the desert to the rainforest where it rains all the time. And when that happened, there were all these trees everywhere and I started reacting to the pollens. And so I would be kind of dizzy every spring. I would be sort of dizzy and it would just be in the spring and then it would go away when the pollens went away. But over time, I was able to do local honey. And this is a solution I will share with you for allergies is if you have seasonal allergies, you get local honey and you start eating it right before the pollens are going to start to go crazy in the spring and you eat it all throughout the spring. If you do that every year, it builds up a resistance. It's kind of like a homeopathic treatment for allergies, because if you went to a homeopath, they would take small amounts of the pollen that you're allergic to and put it in a solution and you would drink that every day. And eventually over time, you would build up a resistance to whatever that is. So they took, so when I was having the bee stuff, I eventually, after a few years, no longer living there, was allergic to the tree pollens. I stopped reacting. So spring would come and I'd be fine. No issue at all. Then I moved 500 miles away to a completely different area with different kind of trees and having some allergies here. Found out I'm allergic to pine. Never knew that. And pine's really good for getting rid of spike proteins. So unfortunately, I can't use the pine for that. I also can't eat yummy stuff called pesto, which is full of pine nuts. My throat closes up if I do pine nut pesto. So, I traded one thing for another thing, but so what am I doing? I bought local honey and I'm starting to eat the local honey, and I'm hoping that in the next couple of years after eating the local honey with the little bits of the pollen, I will build up a resistance to the pine. Won't be a problem anymore. Okay. So allergies. So that's a big thing for having long-term chronic dizziness and vertigo. Okay. Another thing would be a thing called dysonotopia. I was actually diagnosed with that way back when. For a while. I've kind of got it under control, but it's basically has to do with your vagus nerve, dysfunctional vagus nerve, and also stuff that has to do with the crystals. So we have crystals in our head, believe it or not, in our head, and that have to do with our hearing and our ears and your whole vestibular system. You could have vestibular issues with the crystals in your head. If you go to a chiropractor who specializes in that, they can fix that for you if you think you're having those issues with the crystals and stuff. So that is one of the things that can cause chronic dizziness. Another thing that can cause chronic dizziness with the ears would be Meniere's disease. Any kind of an inner ear problem or an inner ear disease will cause you to be dizzy all the time. Hearing issues can cause you to be dizzy all the time. If your hearing's going, that can cause some dizziness. Vision problems, if you need glasses and you're not wearing them, or your glasses are the wrong prescription, that will make you very dizzy. So that's another thing. Heart issues can make you dizzy. In fact, dizziness is a big symptom of heart attack. So if you're dizzy, now keep in mind that a lot of these diseases and things that cause dizziness also have other symptoms. So obviously heart issues are going to come with shortness of breath, palpitations, chest pain or arm pain or shoulder pain. And women present completely different than men do with the heart attack, that kind of thing. But that's basically, a lot of these things are all going to have multiple symptoms. When we're talking about diseases or illnesses that are causing dizziness, they all have a lot of other symptoms, and that's how it's not just the one thing. It's like causing a lot of stuff. A brain tumor can cause you to be dizzy. Anemia, if you're severely anemic and you don't have enough healthy red blood cells, you will be dizzy all the time. You can't even get up off a chair. Years ago, I had horrible anemia and I couldn't even get up off a chair. I also had ungodly low blood pressure, which I don't anymore. Now my blood pressure is normal, but it used to be hypoglycemia, or not hypoglycemia, what is it? Not hypoglycemia. What is it? It's hypo. So there's hyper and hypo. So the blood pressure, I forgot the word for it, sorry. But really high blood pressure or really low blood pressure can make you dizzy. If it's really off the charts high, that can make you dizzy. And if it's really, really low, that will especially make you very dizzy. I mean, you can't even get up off a chair when you have really low blood pressure. I remember many years ago, my blood pressure was so low, I'd have days where it was 70, what was it? It was like 76 over 46 or something like that. And they're like, oh my God, you're dead, Kimberly. And it's like, yeah, you would think I was like a walking zombie corpse or something. I couldn't even get up off the chair. So those are all of the things that are going to cause long-term dizziness and issues. So let's talk about solutions now. And before I go on, I want to explain to you all, I've been a health coach for over 20 years. For those of you that don't know, I'm not just a psychic and a spiritual teacher and a healer and all that. I am a health coach, and how I became a health coach and a healer is what we call the healer's journey or the hero's journey. So a lot of you out there who are having health issues one after another, you are having them so that you can be a healer and you can teach other people how to heal those issues. And so I've taken on the challenge of probably 500 different health issues in my lifetime that I have healed. I've conquered all of them. You know, something happens, I get to the bottom of it, I figured out, I fix myself, because medical doctors started letting me down when I was 19. I'm 58 now. When I was 19 years old, I had a doctor misdiagnose me. And after that point, doctors would either misdiagnose me or they'd shake their head and say, "We don't know what's wrong with you." And that would happen every time I go to a doctor. So every time I go to the doctor, I would wind up healing myself. I'd wind up healing myself. And so that is how I became a health expert and a health coach. I've done health coaching probably close to 20 years. I've worked in the medical industry for 2+ decades in both the allopathic medical industry and in the holistic alternative medical industry. I've worked in both. And so I have a lot of experience with health, with the body, with all the systems of the body. I had to learn all of that for the work I did. No, I wasn't a nurse or a doctor, but I was working with nurses and doctors. I also worked in the medical insurance companies, and I had to actually go through 2 months of hardcore training on every system of the body for that, so that I could sit on the phone and talk to doctors all day long about different diagnosis and whether or not we were going to pay them. So, and also surgeries. I had to learn all the different surgeries that they did for every type of illness known to man. So that is where the info I'm sharing with you today, that is where this is coming from. This is coming from that. I've been studying Ayurvedic medicine, Chinese medicine, homeopathy, naturopathy, holistic healing, energy medicine, all of these alternative types of medicine. I've been studying them for over 39 years. I used to coach naturopathic doctors, chiropractors, acupuncturists, massage therapists, all those people, all the holistic people. I used to coach them for a living. They would call me a walking encyclopedia of natural medicine. So that is where I get my info I'm sharing with you from. Okay. So that's my qualifications. Okay. So I'm not just some psychic person sharing health information with you. I'm actually a health expert sharing health information. I'm a health coach and a health expert. I just went off on a different path. I used to be focused only on the health industry. That was my focus for many years. And then God spoke to me and said, "Nope, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be focusing over here on the spiritual realm. Okay. You're done with the health realm. Now you go to the spiritual realm." So now we're kind of going back to the health a little with you all here today. And the reason why is because Ascension plays into this. Okay. So the Schumann resonance, the coronal mass ejections, those are also things that are going to cause you to be dizzy. When those happen, those will cause that short-term dizziness. I don't remember if I told that to you or not earlier, but I have this on my paper here and I'm looking at it going, I don't think I covered that. Schumann resonance and solar flashes or CMEs, whatever, those will all make you really dizzy. So it's really important for you to know these things. So let's talk about solutions. So obviously Ascension symptoms, I really want you to get my book because that will help you a lot with that. 5G and Wi-Fi, you all need to get these different gadgets. So there's all kinds of things you can use for that. You can use shungite. I keep shungite everywhere. I wear shungite on me when I go out places. I wear a harmony pendant. There's a link to this little guy down in the description of this video. You can get a link to the harmony pendant, and that protects me when I'm driving around in my car. No matter where I go, it protects me from the Wi-Fi and the cell phone towers and all that. It helps. It's not going to completely protect you from it. It just helps mitigate some of it is all it does. Okay. It won't fully protect you, but it mitigates a lot of it. There's all sorts of things. There's a Q-Link. I used to use Q-Link for a long time. I don't have a link for them. Just look up Q-Link. There's all sorts of gadgets out there on the planet to help you with Wi-Fi and cell tower radiation exposure and all that. So I highly recommend that you put those things all over your house. You have like the shungite, you wear the shungite, it's really good. Kyanite is another one, really good for blocking all of that 5G and Wi-Fi. If you're getting psychic attack or those types of things, you need to have a private session with me so I can teach you how to deal with that. That's really important. See, directed energy weapons. I don't know how to tell you how to fight that because I've been hit with them 6 times already. When the satellites find where you are and they whammy you, there's not a damn thing you're going to do about it except have your angels mitigate it so you're not dead. The only reason I'm not dead now is Yeshua told me my angels mitigated it for me every single time. He said if they wouldn't have, I wouldn't even be here on this video right now because they hit me in the heart like 4 times. They hit me in the brain 1 or 2 times. I mean, it just, yeah, really bad. Okay. Obviously spinning around and going on roller coasters and stuff like that, getting whiplash neck, all that kind of thing can make you dizzy. And so don't do it. Don't go on. If there's things that make you dizzy that you have control over that you can stop doing them. Don't do them anymore. If going roller skating makes you dizzy, stop. If riding your bike makes you dizzy, stop. If riding on windy roads makes you dizzy, don't go on a vacation on windy roads. Or if you do, make sure that you're using one of those things that you put on your wrist that push on that acupuncture spot for the nausea and the dizziness, that type of thing. If you have what we call car sickness, motion sickness, because motion sickness can make you very, very dizzy. So you either can avoid the motion that's making you sick, or you can do different types of homeopathic things to help with that. If going into a yoga pose is going to make you dizzy, don't do it. Or if you do it, don't bitch about it. It's allergies. Go get your allergies tested. I went to a virologist, allergist doctor, actually one of the best in the country, and they poked the hell out of me all over. I had RAST and PRIS testing, and the insurance covered that 100%, and they were able to give me a whole printout of everything I was allergic to. And if you don't expose yourself to the things you're allergic to, you won't be dizzy. So that's a real easy cure for that. If you think you might have an ear infection, get your butt into the doctor. My BFF has been going through that horrific ear infection thing for the last week or 2 now. If you think you have wax in your ear, get a little bottle of peroxide drops. There's a brand I like called Debrox, Debrox. That's what I use in my ear, but it's a little bit of peroxide mixed with some other stuff. And you put it in your ear and it gets rid of the wax. Or you can get this like thing that looks like a syringe. It's a syringe, and you fill it with hot water, and you can squeeze that in your ear and get the wax out. Let's see, if you have water caught in your ear, there's some people who get what they call swimmer's ear. There's all sorts of solutions for that that you can get at the pharmacy. Go to your local pharmacy. There's all kinds of stuff for swimmer's ear. There's things you can use to prevent it, and there's things you can use to get rid of it. Timeline changes. I can't help you with that. I have no control over that. Solar flares, CMEs. When the Schumann resonance is going crazy and you read about it on the internet, or you read their solar flares, that's time for you to take it easy on yourself. So sleep a lot, meditate, drink a lot of water, eat very lightly, just take really good care of yourself and be nice to yourself. That's really the only solution you can do at this time. Obviously, if you're getting a download or an upgrade, you should be happy and celebrate and go, woo, woo, I'm getting upgraded and downloads, yay. So you should be happy about that. Let's go into some of these bad things. Make sure you're going to the eye doctor once every couple of years at least to have your eyes checked. Now, I recently went, and thanks to the patches I wear, the X39 and the other Lifewave patches, which there is a link in the description for those as well. Thanks to those patches, my vision is improving. So I got brand new glasses now. These are my new glasses. They are an easier prescription than the ones prior. The ones prior were a much stronger prescription. My eyes are going in the backwards way. They are improving. They're getting better each time. So that's from the patches I'm using, because there's nothing else different I've done except those patches. And my friend Maria Bernardis, I've had her on my channel. She's told me that she got to throw both her pairs of glasses away for short vision and long vision because of the patches. And I didn't believe her. And then I've been wearing them and using them for 4 or 5 months now. Sure enough, went back to the eye doctor and my vision's getting better. It's getting better. And there's nothing else I've done. I haven't been taking any special eye supplements or anything like that. It's just using the patches. So make sure you're getting your eyes checked every couple of years. If you suspect a brain tumors, you're going to get darkened vision. You're not just going to be dizzy. You're going to have other problems like slurred speech, memory issues, that kind of stuff. You're going to have other type of symptoms, or it could just be the constant dizziness, which is why you need to go, if you're having chronic dizziness, not the short-term kind of dizziness, you need to go to a doctor and you need to go through all the testing to find out what's wrong. You might need an MRI or some kind of brain scan because you could have a brain tumor. Make sure you get your blood checked for anemia. If you're feeling lethargic, so if you're getting dizziness from either really low blood pressure or anemia or something like that, you're going to have other symptoms. You're going to feel lethargic, tired all the time, not feeling too good. If you're anemic, you can have like white, like the area that's supposed to be pink in your eye, when you pull it away there, it should be all pink and red. If it's like really pale, it means you have anemia. There's other ways to tell. There's nail tests. There's all kinds of different skin tests and different things you can do to tell if you have anemia. But if you have anemia, you'll have other symptoms. You'll feel like you have Epstein-Barr or something, chronic fatigue. You'll just be tired all the time, really low energy, really lethargic, barely able to get off a chair. There's going to be other things besides dizziness going on. So make sure you go to doctors and get this stuff checked out, but go to a really good naturopath or an MD doctor that's what you call an integrative or holistic MD. And there are lots of integrative and holistic MDs out there. Those are MDs that are open to holistic natural medicine. So yes, they will give you all the tests and do all the very allopathic stuff, but they will also prescribe herbal treatments, or they will send you off to a naturopath who they work with. Like they'll be partnered with the naturopath, or maybe they themselves are a naturopath. I used to have an MD and she went back to college and got trained to be a naturopath too. So she's an MD and a naturopath, and she practices that integrative holistic medicine. So those kind of doctors will try all the natural stuff on you first before they drug you and do surgeries. So you want to go to them. The ear stuff, if you think you're having vestibular issues or the crystal thing or the dysonotopia, again, you need to go to the doctor and check these things out. Okay. So those are the solutions, is mainly that if you have allergies, the biggest thing you're going to need to do is you're going to have to stop eating or taking or exposing yourself. Like, let's say it's a perfume allergy. Don't wear perfume or stay away from perfume. I'm allergic to a lot of perfumes. So I do use perfume, but I'm using natural essential oil perfume. Like I made my own homemade. This is actually smudging stuff, but I also like to use it like a perfume too. It smells amazing. It's Palo Santo and lavender and some other stuff. And I clear the room, and smudge the room and spray it all over myself like a perfume. But essential oil perfumes are very safe to wear and good. If you're somebody who has perfume allergies, it's usually the lab created baloney ones that they sell at the store for $1 gazillion. Those are the ones you want to stay away from. Dust mites, there's all kinds of wonderful solutions. If you're allergic to dust mites, you can get special sheets. You can get HEPA filters. Make sure you have a vacuum that has a HEPA filter. You're going to want to vacuum your bedroom very frequently, wash your sheets frequently, because most dust mites are in the bedroom where your skin is sloughing off. So that's really important. Your pet areas, your pets can create a lot of dust mites. So you're going to want to keep that all vacuumed and clean. I already told you what to do for spraying pollen. There's homeopathic remedies that you can actually buy that are a tincture, and they have them for each zone of the US, like zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. You can go talk to any naturopath about this and they'll give you the correct one for your area. But they have like a homeopathic amount of the pollen from that area that you live in that they put in there, or you can get local honey. All right. You can do it either one of those ways. If you have an actual food allergy, unfortunately, your solution is you have to stop eating the food. So for me, gluten was a problem. Stopped eating the gluten. My stomach feels better. I'm not dizzy like I used to be. I also obviously not doing the spirulina or any of the algaes because they make me really uber dizzy. Fungus, I don't eat mushrooms. Can't eat fresh mushrooms, especially make me sick as heck. So I was actually taking a mixed mushroom capsule for a little while, and I was okay for a little while, and then my body said, nope, not doing this anymore. Broke out in a rash all over my body, whole body covered with a rash from taking mushrooms. So Kimberly will not be taking mushrooms anymore. So anyways, that is all I wanted to talk to you about today. I'm hoping that this information will save some lives or help some people. I mean, if you're somebody who's bedbound because you're dizzy all the time, like my friend Shane, hopefully you will think about the possibility of what am I eating that I could be allergic to? Start doing, what do they call it? NAET. It's like an elimination diet where you eliminate all the major offenders. Like most people are allergic to soy, eggs, dairy, wheat, gluten, those kind of things, the grains. That's the kind of stuff most people are allergic to. And then you have the weirdo people like me who are allergic to stuff like mushrooms and spirulina, but majority of people are allergic to stuff like dairy and wheat and that kind of thing. So cut out those different things one at a time and see how your body reacts. And you usually, so when you do an elimination thing where you cut out the bad guy that might be making you sick, you're not going to know if it's the culprit for a good week or more. Okay. So you have to be off the food because your body needs to detox it all out of your system. So once you stop eating it, it's going to take a week or two for your system to fully detox it to know, is this truly? However, there are a lot of cases where you stop taking the offensive thing and you literally feel better that day, the next day. I've done this over and over where I've taken something I was allergic to, and the minute I stopped, I felt better. Hours later or a day later, I felt amazingly better. But it could, naturopaths have told me it could take your body a week or two before it really detoxes all of whatever is in the body, especially if it's something that's built up in your system. Now, something like dairy or wheat, usually if you go off that, you will notice a difference like in a day or two or three. Okay. Like 3 days, you'll notice a difference. But if it's something like a supplement or a vitamin type of thing where it's already like built up in your liver and in your body and your system, that could take a while. That could take a week or so to get it out of your body. So those are just some tips for you on how to deal with that. But that is my best recommendations for how to deal with the dizziness and to pinpoint and diagnose what is it causing my dizziness. I mean, how do I deal with this? Because I am just hearing tons of people out there. I want to say almost every client I have at some point, almost every client I have um, is suffering from some sort of dizziness. If not every single day, once in a while, or every now and then, or they'll say, oh, I walk in this one building and I always feel dizzy. And so I already talked to you all about what that is. Sometimes the buildings that you're going into, I forgot to mention this, sometimes going into those buildings, it's not just it's not just about ghosts in the building. It could be mold and fungus in the building. If you are very sensitive to mold and fungus and you walk into a moldy building, you will immediately get dizzy. I don't know how many old buildings or even new ones I've walked in that had air conditioning, mold and fungus in the air conditioning systems, brand new building, brand spanking new building. And every time I'd walk into that building, I'd feel dizzy. One other thing that I forgot, I'm being reminded now to tell you all, is if you go into a house or a building that has paint, chemicals will make you dizzy. Okay. If you're breathing in chemicals, you can get dizzy. Fresh paint, fresh carpeting, fresh tile, all of those kind of things that are loaded with toxic chemicals from China. Clothing that you get from China, make sure when you buy new clothing that you wash it before you put it on your body, because if you're sensitive to chemicals and you breathe in the smell from that fabric, you're going to get dizzy. Okay. Dizziness is such a huge relation to allergies. It's just ridiculous. So I would say any of you having dizzy spells, the number one culprit, if it's not an Ascension symptom, is probably always going to be allergies. If you're not dizzy, it's going to be allergies. So I just wanted to tell you that. I'm trying to think what else I wanted to tell you. I think that's it. I think we're good. So, all right. Yeah, we're good. All right. Well, thank you all for watching this video. I got distracted because I think I have like an emergency thing going on here, because I have somebody who just keeps continuously calling my cell phone over and over and over again. I don't know who it is, but somebody is just calling and calling and calling and calling. And I'm not answering it because it's not a family member or a good friend. If it was a family member or a good friend and they're calling repeatedly, it's a real emergency. If it's somebody I don't really know, it's sorry, not an emergency. It's only an emergency if it's somebody important to me who is calling me repeatedly, then I'm going to pick it up. But anyways, so hopefully all you do the same. You guys have to have good boundaries these days, because people will overstep your boundaries like no tomorrow. I've had an issue with that over the years. People just trying to take advantage. So the other thing I wanted to share is our women's retreat last May in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho was super successful, and we sold it out really fast. In fact, we had to open up extra spots because we went over the limit and then some. This year, this coming year, 2025, it's going to fill up again really fast. So make sure that you register as soon as possible. In the description down below, you will see the link to our website for our women's retreat. We will have 3 days straight, all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, April 10th, 11th, or I'm sorry, 11th, 12th, and 13th. We will have healing and spiritual like workshops all day long with me, Sarah Nash, and Rosemary Levesque. We will be teaching, those are the two ladies that were with me last time. We'll be doing this again. This time we're doing it in the mountains of Asheville, North Carolina, in the right near the national park, what's called the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. If you are, this is for women only. We talk about a lot of very personal. I had a guy say, "Hey, I live nearby and I'm a guy. Can I come?" No, not for men, because the whole time we were there, we were talking about very female stuff, like our foo-foos down below and all kinds of stuff. And I don't think men want to engage in that. So, so this is very female oriented retreat. The reason I don't do males is because every time I've ever offered classes for men, group sessions for men, retreats for men, anything for men, nobody signs up. So I have a lot of guys bitch and complain about, why don't you offer it for men? And then I offer it, and then I go and I offer it for men, and none of them sign up. So I'm done with that. So women always sign up. So we're doing women's only retreat. We're doing it April 11th, 12th, 13th, and then we have an extra event on the 14th, which is going to be a dragon ceremony out in the forest in the Smoky Mountain National Forest near the famous dragon tree. There's a famous dragon tree there. It's actually a tree that's bent over that looks like a dragon. And we're going to be doing a dragon ceremony in the forest with our shaman, wonderful shaman, Rosemary, who is going to be there. And so again, the website for that is down in the description, so you can go and look at the classes that we're teaching. I will be teaching 2 classes, and Rosemary and Sarah will be teaching some classes. We're going to have a sound healer again. We had a singing bowl healer come out last time and put us all into a wonderful meditative healing relaxation session. It was just incredible. A lot of people fell asleep. Just amazing healing. We're going to do that again. We might have some other local shamans because there's a lot of shamans and healers in the mountains of North Carolina there. I mean, it's just a huge spiritual capital of America, honestly. Also UFO capital of America, lots of UFOs. It's on a important grid line area. So they've got UFOs, Bigfoot, all kinds of spiritual people see fairies in the forest, all kinds of stuff that people experience, dragons in that forest, all kinds of stuff. So it's a really cool thing. And you can bring your family and have them stay at your hotel with you, and they can go sightseeing all day because this is a huge vacation destination place. They've got, um, was it the Biltmore Estate there, which is really cool. They've got amusement parks, they've got zoos, they've got, I think, car museums, all kinds of museums you can go to. They've got, of course, the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. It's one of the most beautiful national parks in America, and you can spend a whole week in that park and not run out of things to do, as they would say. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff, going on. So if you want to share a room with another woman, if you don't want to come and stay in a hotel by yourself and rent your own car, we have a Facebook group. Once you sign up for the retreat, then you can join the Facebook group and you can get together with the other ladies and you can share rental cars, you can share a hotel room, and whatever you want to do. So I just thought I'd mention that. But you're going to want to sign up ASAP because this thing sells out, and April is just what, 8 months away, something like that. It'll go by really fast. The time will go by really, really quick. So I will put that down below, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Please like the video so more people will see it, and comment if you'd like, ask any questions in the comments. Share and subscribe. Of course, any negative comments or rude comments or disrespectful comments will be deleted and the person will be blocked. Just thought I'd remind you. Have a nice day, y'all.